Long time no see. Why haven't I been posting videos? Frankly, I haven't felt like it. It's really that simple. I don't feel like it anymore. But today's a bit different. I have a little bit of motivation. I have something I want to share. One of the things I've been working on is getting this basement room turned into a home movie theater system. I've been doing a lot of research about surround sound systems, and I want to get a projector. It's been damn frustrating because the jargon, the poor marketing, frankly, misinformation when you're jumping into this sort of stuff, trying to move away from a TV, it's just a frustrating experience. So let's talk about this quote-unquote WeMax short throw projector. And it's not really WeMax because it's actually a 4-movie in partnership with WeMax, but they market it as WeMax, but it's actually a 4-movie. I don't know what the hell's going on. Regardless, short throw meaning it's got, laser diodes, and in theory you should be able to just set it up mere inches away from the wall, and then it projects a relatively large screen. I'm actually going to have to return this because it doesn't work for this setup. I'll explain to you why. So here's problem number 1 with a short throw projector. You have to have a very peculiar setup in order to make it work. So, for example, you're not going to really find any furniture that works with it because it has to be so low to the ground in order to achieve a large screen size. This isn't very large. I just measured it out, and at best this is about 75 inches. But I've got the projector pretty much as far away from the wall as I can take it unless I start jutting out the furniture, and that gets weird rather quickly. Then there's the matter of surface, right? Obviously you have this huge imperfection that I'm assuming is because the wall is imperfect. You're gonna learn that too. That is why I bought this projector. And there goes its safety feature, so you don't get lasered in the eye, but it gets even weirder. And of course, yeah, I'm inexperienced with setting this up and keystone correction, but my God, what a goofy thing to have to deal with. Okay, so then let's assume I got it right with all the goofiness it takes to get it somewhat level. And now I face, the keystone correction. This is about as good as I can get it, which of course also depends on the screen. Now the screen I bought is, pulled down, and it said 120-inch screen. What they didn't tell me is that this is a 1-to-1 ratio, so this isn't 120 inches, which is such a stupid way to measure TV screen size, because a diagonal doesn't really mean anything. Regardless, it should have been a 16:9 ratio. And because it's got such imperfections, well, it's very obvious. So that's also a big problem. And so right now, this is about 88 inches on diagonal, which may sound very petty, but, quite frankly, a first world problem. But when you pay such exorbitant amounts of money for something like this, you do want to get as much as you can out of it. So obviously I have to get a bigger screen. That one's on me. But then there is no way for me to do it. Partially is because look at the distance, this distance here. If I want this any larger, well, I can't, because as soon as I do that, the image goes on the ceiling unless I get weird. I have to take my furniture apart and shift the WeMax down and kind of recess it. Then it's basically sitting on the floor. But I tried that too, and because the image projects kind of like in this direction and that direction, the furniture then casts a shadow. So this furniture setup doesn't really even work. So that's always going to be a problem and a pain in my butt. So this isn't really so much a knock on short throw projectors as it is in what they don't tell you. So number 1, you gotta have a tall ceiling. I'm in my basement. It's a 7-foot tall ceiling, and that is not enough to get the biggest bang for the buck out of this. Number 2, furniture. You can't really, unless you're gonna spend extraordinary amounts of money on custom furniture, this just isn't going to work. And then the screen. You cannot go with a cheapo screen. You probably need an ALR or something perfectly straight, because everything gets exacerbated here. Of course, that's going to be also true for just regular projection screens. or projectors, I should say. That being said, you know, the image quality is just, it's fantastic. No doubt about it. This is fantastic and would be so fantastic. And then here's an example of the image. I've moved the projector out even further and I've removed the screen. But now I'm basically practically on the ceiling. This is about 100 inches diagonally, which isn't so bad size-wise, but look at how dramatically this gap here grows. This one's about 14 inches or so from the surface of this table, and that does become rather troublesome as far as an ergonomics and what you're staring at sort of standpoint. And so that's pretty much where I'm at with this short throw project. Great in theory, but in order to set it up correctly, there are many things that need to line up for you. Number one, you probably need a tall ceiling, at least 8 feet. So these short basements are probably not going to work. Number two, you're going to need to have the right furniture set up. Now, I've seen how people solve this problem. They just put the thing on the ground, and I hate that. I think that is so chintzy and is such a terrible look. I want furniture to somehow be involved. Call me, I don't know, eclectic, but that's just the way it is. And as far as room goes, and as far as furniture goes, those are just two things that are not in my cards. I cannot change anything about this, really. And the furniture that's the best I've found, at least within my budget, short of spending about $3,000 on custom furniture, which I have seen. And so that leaves the only thing that is on me, which is the screen I bought. Obviously not the right choice. It's quite poor quality, and frankly, there's almost less defects just on this crooked drywall than there were defects on this screen. So I will probably be investing in an ALR, or at least a higher quality screen, which ALR stands for ambient light rejecting screen, which is only really necessary if you have concerns about not being able to control the brightness in your room. But me being in the basement, obviously I can just turn off the lights and I can put curtains on that there window, so not a big deal. Because the one idea I don't like is a permanent fixture that just occupies the wall at all times. I would rather have it be kind of rolled down like this, but perhaps higher quality without imperfections. And so as much as I like this WeMax short throw, it doesn't work for my setup, so therefore I have to return this, and what I'm going to have to do is, well, it's going to be a projector. I'm going to mount it to the ceiling, and that's just your classic setup, but I imagine it's going to be much easier to control the image and not have like these strange problems that this is causing right now. So that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching.